Hello, fight fans. Rose Namajunas is a mixed martial artist and former two-time UFC women's strawweight champion. Marius Markevicius is an award-winning filmmaker. Together, they've just created the excellent new documentary, Thug Rose, Mixed Martial Artist, about Rose's life and career, which premiered at the 2022 Austin Film Festival. Rose, Marius, thank you so much for the time. How you doing today?
Very good. How are you?
Doing very well. Congratulations on this film. It's exciting that it gets to premiere at Austin Film Festival this year. I'm curious for both of you, and Marius, we'll start with you here. How did y'all initially link up to make this documentary happen?
Well, we were just talking about that actually last night. It's been a long road. I think it was 2017 that I first reached out to Rose. She's a champion, and I was just, intrigued by her story right away. But ultimately, one of the connections was our Lithuanian background. We're both Lithuanian heritage, and I've done some films about Lithuanian topics and subject matters. And Rose just jumped out as a unique story and another Lithuanian story, but a story that I think is universal and a lot of people could relate to. So I reached out and I started pitching. I think I started telling her, I did this film called The Other Dream Team, and she's like, yeah, I know. It was one of my favorites, and so we clicked pretty fast, and 5 years later we're here. So yeah.
Sarunas Marcellonis is one of the greats. So Rose, when he initially approached you, was there any apprehension on your part, and if so, what ultimately swayed you to want to do it?
I was already a fan of his documentary, being Lithuanian descent, and just my own story. After you see the documentary, you're gonna know why I was very attracted to that documentary. And then when he had reached out, that was like perfect, and I now sitting here in 2022, it's kind of a miracle that we've gotten to this point, and it's pretty amazing. I didn't know, it's just been such a long journey to get to this point, but I'm super just thankful and grateful that he believed in my story and was interested, and we've been very persistent this whole time, and to come up with such a masterpiece.
As any good documentary does, this film explores both the highlights of your life, some of the best moments of your life, but also some of the struggles that you've gone through to get there. That includes some pretty horrific things in your childhood. There were positives in your childhood as well, obviously, and then also some of the highs and lows from your career. What was the most difficult thing for you to talk about, Rose?
I think just all of it, I'm a pretty private person, but I think there was so many difficult things to talk about, but I knew that my story can really, it already has done so many positive things for so many people. I guess if you get, I think the most difficult thing would be social media presence, and just the imaginary thoughts of oh, what are people going to say about this? What are, all the crazy stuff. You can drive yourself crazy, reading what people say about you. But when they show up to you in person, they're just super loving and super appreciative and super genuine. So I rarely ever get any type of negative feedback in person. So even just yesterday, hanging out with some of the fans and stuff, just what I can do for people, and just it makes all of the tough times worth it.
And Marius, obviously you having to get to know somebody when making a film about them, you're going to learn some things that you did not know when you entered the project. For you, what was the most surprising thing that you learned about Rose?
Well, I think Rose has always been an open book. She says she is a private person, absolutely, but she's also been an open book for many years. And from interviews to her, to emotions that come out after her fights, she really puts it all out there. And I think that is what it's one of the most unique things about her, and makes people relate to her so well. So I can't say that there was anything, a huge shocking revelations or news, but it was just amazing to get to know her and Pat and their family on a more personal level, and be thankful for that access, and seeing and learning about the MMA just community and the community that they've built around them. That broke down a lot of stereotypes and things that I had thought about what it is to be an MMA fighter, or what those athletes are, or who they are. I just was amazed with how tight knit and how supportive and how just nice and friendly and open and wonderful that community was, which is maybe not what everyone would expect.
Yeah, we're not all barbaric as people would think.
Not at all, far from it. Joe Rogan has obviously done a great job over time of helping to bust that myth, if you will. And Rose, you're somebody who's obviously achieved greatness within your profession. People who achieve greatness are able to extract the proper lessons from those moments where they're not necessarily succeeding, from those moments of failure, if you will. Obviously, it was a big moment in your career to be on the Ultimate Fighter TV show, which culminates with that championship fight with Carla Esparza that you lose. Considering how early that was in your career, what did you learn from that moment?
That was the humble pie that I needed at the time of my life. I learned, gosh, yeah, just so many things. Definitely the power of the position that I was in and all the attention, like just the media and stuff. I learned like this really has a huge, it's a huge thing, and it's a huge responsibility. So being the age I was and the maturity level, that was exactly what I needed to level up and like, yeah, I just matured a lot.
Marius, I loved how you wove in Rose's piano playing throughout at least the beginning of the film, but the piano is going on throughout the course of this movie. Was that Rose's playing the entire time? And if so, is that something that you really wanted to make a part of this film from the jump?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think that's one of the most unique things about Rose and her outside of the ring life and talents and skills, of which there are many, but this one is very special. It's a high level of piano playing when you can play. The film opens with Chopin Fantasy Impromptu, which is a pretty complex. I'm no musical expert, but it's complex, and she just, she's a master at it. And so I felt like that was going to be a perfect opening for the film. In fact, one concern I had was that people would see that opening and think that it was some kind of like movie magic trick, that it was not her playing. Of course, people that have followed Rose knows that she has that skill, but to see it and see the, see her fingers move and see the fluidity, and then wanting to make that a thread through the film of how her musicality and rhythm, you can see it in her fighting, you can see it in her footwork, and you can see it. I mean, she is literally, dancing around the ring and evading people and then striking and then moving and just there's definitely like a connection. And Rose comes from a family of artists, and we talked a lot about that in our time together. That there's an artistry, and of course the tagline of the film is Thug Rose, mixed martial artist. And the artist is the key word there.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize the layers there, but that's a great point. So Rose, what's your favorite piece to play then?
Well, definitely Fantasy Impromptu is like my go-to. When I'm in training camps, I also like Claude Debussy and Arabesque and Clair de Lune and all that stuff. Lately I've been getting into some gospel music, so I'm learning Amazing Grace and it's funny, what's that Fat Boy song? Can You Feel It? I was just jamming out. I like, that's one thing we like to do at home is Pat will just bring out a speaker, connect his phone to it, and just play whatever song is on his playlist, and then I'll try to figure it out with just using my ears. And like the other day we were just playing Fat Boys, Can You Feel It? So yeah, just really anything. I love music. Anything I can dance to or sing to, or something that's uplifting. I'm not really into nothing crazy or anything,
Yeah, it seems like the piano is a happy place for you. And Marius also shot some scenes of you and Pat, I think near your home in Colorado, around a river or body of water that seems like another one of those happy places. Is that the case? Where he was filming, where y'all were swimming, or sometimes where you just had your feet in the water, someplace you like to go to unwind?
Yeah, that place in particular is very quiet for us, and that's essential for me. I've anybody that follows me closely knows that my childhood dream was to be a farmer, and so I still to this day I'm very involved in agriculture, gardening, and just sustainable living. So anything that I can do in nature and be around animals and just breathe that fresh air, and even just being up in the mountains, it's high altitude, so it's just good for just to be up there, for being in shape and stuff. Yeah, I love being around nature.
Marius, we as humans, if we're doing it right, learn something new from every new experience. Obviously, each new film you make is a new experience for you. So what did you learn working with Rose for the past 5 years?
Oh man, I mean, a lot. I mean, some of the things we touched on already, just kind of, getting a glimpse into this wonderful world and community of the MMA fighters and their close knit family of trainers and coaches and friends. But I don't know. I mean, I think thinking about the actual, some of the fight that we filmed in Madison Square Garden last November, where Rose fought Weili Zhang for the second time, and just being in the tunnels of Madison Square Garden as a lifelong sports fan, just the thrill of that experience, but then just the nerves that I had watching what was happening and seeing it firsthand, and seeing these really intense fights before Rose's fight, and seeing the guys coming back bleeding and struggling, being put onto ambulances in some cases, and like I was like getting nauseous thinking just about what Rose has to go out there and do, and just having that visceral. I don't know if I've ever been affected as viscerally by filming something, because I was like about to faint in the tunnels there, and thinking and I'm just, we're holding cameras. So it really put in perspective what these athletes go through. And it's just incredible that Rose could maintain that kind of mental balance and focus and go out and do what she did. That was an incredible learning experience, which I won't forget.
Last question, Rose. If you could go back and experience any one championship throughout your life, it could even be a championship that you got when you were a kid, which would you go back to and why?
I always said that when I fought Joanna the first time, that was, I think the way that I felt physically in that fight, I've never been so in control, and it just felt like bliss. Like I said, it was like butter, like it was just smooth. And I didn't really, because it was my first time becoming the champion, I didn't really get to take it in as much as I did the second time. But I was way more nervous and way more didn't feel as good the second time that I won the belt. So the first time, that was just magical, but it was so magical that I didn't even comprehend it, and just went straight to the airport after, and I was just super just scared of the whole situation.
All right, and last question for you, Marius. I mentioned Sarunas Marciulionis a little bit earlier. Has Rose supplanted Sarunas as the Lithuanian athletic GOAT?
No. No.
That's not a fair question, because the Lithuanians we have to support. We're such a small country, and there's not a lot of us, and so anybody that achieves as high level of success, whether it was Marciulionis, Sabonis, Rose, now it's the guys in the NBA, Sabonis Jr., Domantas is doing great, and Jonas Valanciunas. But it's nice to have somebody who's not a basketball player, because that's the majority of our athletic success. So Rose is helping branch out to the different parts of the sports world, and she's definitely the Lithuanian GOAT of MMA, that's for sure. Great
answer there. The new film is Thug Rose, Mixed Martial Artist. Emphasis on the artist there. Y'all, thank you so much for the time today, and congratulations on this beautiful piece of art.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks to Gentleman Jesus for the intro and outro music. Hear more of his work at gentlemanjesus.com. And thanks to you for hanging out. You can watch, listen, learn, and connect for free at booksonpod.com. For Books on Pod, I'm Trey Elling. Good day.